Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Klamath Tribes podcast, which we will be doing weekly, speaking to directors, the chairman, the general manager, to keep you up to date on what's going on here at the Klamath Tribes. Joining me today on this initial launch of our podcasting here at the Klamath Tribes is the one and only Georgene Nelson, the director of the language department. Hello.
Good morning.
So you've been very busy. This is an expansion year for the department after the first year. Why don't we start with what you've expanded upon and where you're looking to take the department?
Yes, we have started regular Zoom classes for tribal members who want to learn more about the language. And we have started also creating PowerPoints, which will give the words in our language and sentence use. We're working to gain fluency in our language so we can communicate.
Fluency. It's a big step for everybody trying to learn the language. And of course, it's Klamath, Modoc, and Paiute that you're teaching.
Yes.
How do you find the general tribal members are accepting this, more leaning towards one language than another?
I'm finding that everybody's interested in all the languages. We just put out a very, it's just a little information booklet, but it's an origami book, and it's got Modoc, Paiute, and Klamath in it. And we found people were very interested in that. And then we have one just in Paiute. And we see there's a lot of people who are interested in that language. So it's good to see people interested in all three of the languages.
What are our numbers looking like right now for the total enrollment?
Well, in our department, once a person enrolls into our department, they just stay enrolled. And so last year we had 74 people sign up for it. And this year we had 62 people. And language is like, if you take any language course, you go in and you have people who sign up, and then pretty soon people start dropping out. But together, we put together 31 completion certificates so far, where people have gone all the way through the training. The training is cut up into 3 segments: the beginner level, the intermediate level, and then a more advanced level. And so, we've had some good success with that.
And you have teachers on board that joined this year.
Yes, we have Mr. Steve Weiser, who has been studying the Paiute language for 20 years. And he has been very helpful in getting the Paiute students talking very well.
Are we looking to add to the instructional side?
Yes, we are. We're going to be working to get a Klamath Modoc trainee on board this year, so that we can have them working to train people.
They say the best way to learn a language is to start young. How are we doing for the young learners?
Oh boy, that is really, really the case. We have families who do the training. And so it's oftentimes the children who become the leaders in the family group. And we have 2 children right now in the Paiute who, for Native American Heritage Month, had been involved in their respective schools, but they introduced themselves in Paiute. These are the first students to do that in Paiute. And we also have another young lady who is our current Miss Klamath Restoration Queen, and she's attending the University of Oregon, and she knows how to introduce herself in Klamath and Modoc. She's now also able to introduce herself in Paiute. So our children are leading the way here.
And we also have many schools with Klamath tribal members, whether it's Colony, Mazamak, Klamath Union, Chiloquin's Middle School. Have you been doing much outreach to the schools to try to recruit students for the language program?
We have been working with the schools so that they can have language in the school. So far, we have words of welcome in Chilcotin High School, Mazama High School, and Ponderosa Junior High School. And
most recently, Chilcotin.
yeah, Chilcotin, they were included last year, and Ponderosa was our last one that we did translations for. And I went to a event at Chilcotin High School for Native American Heritage Month, and I asked if anybody there could introduce themselves in their tribal language, and I had 3 students stand up and say they could do that, and they got up and they introduced themselves. So there are also students who were part of the Summer Youth Employment Program, and they're also part of our Youth Tribal Council.
Well, we have, I don't know, over 300 tribal members in school.
Right.
What percentage have you tapped into to participate in the language program, and how much growth do you think there is there?
I do know that the teachers here, whatever we put out,
Here being Chilcotin?
here in Chilcotin, the Chilcotin Elementary, there's about 3 or 4 teachers who will take information that we put on our YouTube channel and put out through our Klamath Tribal notices, and they put it in their classroom. And so we have just started this department. And so one of the goals that we have is to work to get information put together where teachers can just tap into that resource, like through YouTube. And we could zoom in if we need to help them with that training. So we're given, they only want like 20 minutes or 15 minutes of training. And so we are now working on PowerPoint presentations that would be able to teach you how to count, learn the colors, learn basic phrases.
So you're combining digital, Zooming. What about in-classroom teaching?
Well, in-classroom teaching we have a lot, this is a big county, so we're going to try to work more on Zooming for training, and to see if we can generate more interest through that. We, in the past, have gone out and gone into schools, but with them only wanting 15 minutes of training at a time, I think it's better if we can do it in a manner where they can pull up the information and we can zoom in and go over it. That's what I'm doing right now in Zoom app class, and it's being very effective.
As you progress through the year, from the beginning of the year to what you envision before the end of this year, what do you think things should be that'll make you happy about your progress?
One of the things that we're trying to do is educate our tribal membership on how endangered these languages are. We have no fluent speakers in our language right now. So our program is focusing on the cultural sounds of the language. So students learn how to say the vowel sounds, how to say the consonant sounds, and then that kind of removes the barrier of learning on, am I saying it right? Because tribal languages have specific sounds to them. And so we train them about those sounds. We train them about the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is what we use. And so by teaching them all of these breakdowns of what we're doing with the language and how we're teaching it, it allows them to be able to focus on those sounds. And then that removes that question, am I saying it right? The other is that we educate on the fact that we have 27 different bands. So we have 27 different groups who use the language in their own unique way. That means your family who came from a band and they said things a certain way. And so we just say, okay, that's how your family says it, and we just move on from there. But as long as we can communicate with one another, that's the important thing.
And if anybody wants to get involved with the language program, what do they need to do?
Well, you can send us an email at ktlanguages@klamathtribes.com.
KT Languages.
Klamath
At
Tribe-
klamathtribes.com.
at klamathtribes.com. Or you can just call us, and we can get you signed up over the phone.
And the number is?
And the number is 541-783-2219. And my extension is 291, and Steve's extension is 295.
These courses are free.
Yes, no cost to our tribal membership.
Does it come with a textbook?
We do have textbooks available. You can download those for free off of our tribal website at www.klamathtribes.org/language. And you can go in underneath language lessons, and you can download the Numayadwa booklet or the Alksikniam Hemkungs booklet.
Very good. Georgene Nelson, today's guest on the Klamath Tribes podcast, which is a weekly podcast. We'll be also maybe having a language podcast. We're actually teaching maybe certain things during a podcast.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Well, thank you very much, Georgene Nelson, the director of the language department here at the Klamath Tribes.
Mosip Ketcha for having me. Uncha.